Hey, we're going to kick off our workshop, jazz workshop featuring Paul Deemer and Joe Morales. There we go. And this is Joe's class. For the most part, it's come early. The New School Jazz Club, and we want Paul to have one like that. And for the next few months, the first Sunday of the month is the plan, is we'll do this, it'll be free. We want to get all the people who would like to be up here. We're kidding, it's all ages, but it's primarily teenage.
This one's full.
Yep.
So a lot of people want to join, so we're gonna have Paul come in and do the earlier class. So, because see, now everybody wants to be in this, and we're full. And I hate saying no to people. So Paul's ready. He's ready to take some challenge.
And I'm Richard Spencer. I direct New School Music for y'all that are new or haven't met me yet. And Joe is our VP of Community Outreach and Performance. And Paul is an amazing multi-instrumentalist, teaches ET, trombone, equally good on trumpet, piano, drums. And so anyway, it's just a pleasure to have this going. We're having our camp. We haven't got the slot for whether it's the second or third week of June, but we'll release that soon. We'll be booked soon. And here's a little flyer, if you'd like one. That's what I mailed out. Here's bios on our geniuses here, Joe and Paul. And they'll probably already seen that.
Used to be genius for me. I speak for myself.
And we advertise in downbeat. We're not in this issue, but they send to be a bunch if y'all want a downbeat if you don't have it. It's a great jazz magazine. Okay, I'm going to go hang by the front door and look for other people.
So Arabella is coming, our bass player's coming, and we have
just
actually two bass players.
the topic of improv. You guys work together?
All right, sure. Why don't we start off with like a blues tune, like Blue Monk, something like that, Blue Monk. And we're gonna go around the room and take some solos. And then Paul is gonna give some feedback on it, all right? Because I give feedback every Sunday. Sure. I don't wanna hear it. All right? So why don't we do that? Kick them off, Henry.
One, two, one.
Concert key.
B flat.
Okay, here we go. Try to get 1, 2. Hold on. I'll let Paul go first.
Well, I mean, great job, everyone. It's good to see you all again. I've seen most of your faces from camp, right? Yeah. Just a couple of you all grown. That's cool too. Little growth spurts. That happens. So, as a whole, I'm feeling, at large rather, I'm feeling that we could explore maybe some more dynamic areas of dynamic, loudness, softness, right? It seemed loud most of the time. So, before I get into that, what are some ways, right? I've noticed, and it seems that our attention span kind of reflects a little bit of social media, right? Where there's maybe 15 to 20 seconds of focus, and then we're ready for the next thing. And that's somewhat just a human trait that we have, right? So it's, like it or not, I've had to consider that as a soloist as I'm playing. So what are some ways to shift, like vibe, we'll say, or texture, or dynamic? What are some things that we can use to make a solo engaging throughout a couple of forms of a solo, right? What are some techniques, extended techniques, whatever it is, anything you think of, to make things different, to change it up? Anybody got any ideas on that? Yes, sir, Judah.
Start off with simple ideas and then get into more technical ideas towards the end or the second chorus.
Sure, so development, right? Oftentimes that'll include introducing a theme and developing a specific theme. Okay, okay, go ahead.
Just like play a variation of what you played before.
Sure, theme and variation, exactly. So this can be at any point in the solo. We're kind of just throwing all the techniques up on the wall, right, for consideration, and not yet considering what order they might happen in or what part of the solo to use them. But everybody's still with me here? I know we got some new people entering the room. All right, we were talking about attention span, right? So we can use, I'll throw in a couple, and I think it'll maybe jog your minds of other ones to add on to that. So one might be play really loud, right? That could be something you could use at some point in your solo. And then the opposite of that would be playing really loud. Go ahead and answer. Let's
Really soft.
play really soft. Yeah, we got to get this connection going here, this dynamic. This is we're a team effort here. I'm not just going to be talking at you for the whole time at least. So then what are some other kind of dual or dualities or kind of contrasting things? We see this in all forms of art if you look for it, in movies and books and painting. There are these oftentimes contrasting, or what we've learned in school called juxtaposition, right? Remember learning about this in maybe English or reading. So what are some other examples of this? We did loud and soft. What are some other ones? Yes, sir.
Slow and fast.
Slow and fast. Similar to what Judah said, but also different, where we can do like more lyrical, half note, whole note melodies, and then towards the maybe second chorus, or maybe when we get to the bridge, if it's a slower tempo, then we start picking up into, right, getting into some 8th notes, 16th notes, and triplets, right? Yes, another one.
Different types of like articulation.
That's a great one. That's a beautiful one. So you can go between da 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 or da 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 da, right? Long, short, anything in between, right? So we just need to consider all these options as part of our toolkit for when we're soloing. And so far, none of these things that we've listed off explicitly have to do with the right chords or the right notes. So this is something we can use outside of that, especially at this earlier stage if we're kind of struggling to keep the form or know what chord we're at or whatever, which I sure did in my earlier years. Then maybe I can shift a little bit into focusing on these other things and still keep my solo interesting while I'm working on understanding harmony, right? So there's other things we can pay attention to make the solo exciting. There's a few more. Maybe play really high and then play really low. There's another one where you can play very like linear, like chromatic, like snake-like, right? Or, and sax players are great at this, you can play this is vertical, right? So vertical and horizontal, arpeggios, right? All kinds of different dualities or contrasting things we can use into a solo. Cool? So don't forget about that, and you'll be reminded throughout your tenure learning this music, but I think it's a good thing to check into here, right, in this moment. Okay, so, am I ready to move on from that?
What about tempo in the field? For that particular song?
The tempo in the field is good, yeah. So we can move on from the themes real quick, and let's talk about drums. And that's part of it too, the dynamics, the tempo in the field. Those are all connected, of course. So let's start with the head in. Let's start from there. I'll count us in, and eventually, I would recommend you all checking out a version. There's a version that I'm familiar with, being a trombone player of this song, that was played by J.J. Johnson and Kai Winding, where there's a counterpart. So there's not 9 people playing one melody, right? Typically we don't need that many people on the same melody in a small group or medium-sized group like this. So there are tons of recordings and examples and resources to refer to hear a version of it where they have a harmony to it. And that kind of keeps, again, catering to that attention span. We have it one voice the first time through, and as humans, turns out we need something a little different the second time, right? So this is just communication. We're learning to talk and speak to people and connect with people and understand human-to-human contact and interaction. But through music, and more specifically through the language, which it really is to me, in my opinion, the language of jazz, right? It's an expressive language. Okay, so getting back to the groove and the beat, let's start. We won't figure out a harmony right now, but check that out. I mean, all you should be writing this down on your phone if you're allowed access to them. J.J. Johnson Kai Winding version of this tune, Blue Monk, right? So that way you can go home and learn the harmony to this, and then when you go to the next jam session, you've got this hip new harmony to show your friends and the people that you're playing with, right? That's what I found fun when I did this in my younger years. If you continue in this tradition, you'll learn that seeking knowledge like this, it's almost similar to, I wouldn't know personally, but what I imagine someone in law school, like the commitment to learning all the information behind the U.S. law and all the court findings and rulings and everything that's happened, just consuming information so that when you enter, for them it's the court room, right? For us it's the bandstand, very similar thing. But when I step on there, now I have all of that information ready to access, to speak to whoever I need to, from a place of being informed, right, in the music. So that's going to be a theme in school if you study jazz, and it'll start to become a competition amongst your friends of like what's, actually Isaac's kind of a walking encyclopedia of this, of which tune when and where and what year and who was on it. Like that's a tradition and a cultural thing of this music. So it's important to start tapping into that now, right? Cool. Before I move on, any questions about this stuff? We good? What I'm saying makes sense? Okay. Gentleman on the trombone, which,
Thomas.
Thomas?
Yeah.
Well, behind you, actually.
Javi?
Javi, cool. All right, stay with me. I know it's, you know, the trombone is an interesting instrument. I play it. But let's just stay with me here, okay? You're playing some high notes early, too, with that downward angle. That's pretty interesting. All right. It helps. That angle playing down helps. I think, Judah, you do that a little bit, too. So I'm headlong into brass tech. That's a whole other thing. But let's stay on this, okay? Let's start this melody. All right, and I'm just going to tell you before. Ba-ba-da-ba, ba-ba-do-da, do-ba-do. Right? This is a conversation together. For us, we're experiencing this moment as individuals, but for the listener, this is one unit of sound and expression. And so we need to be aware of how we're sounding with each other as a unit, okay? Ba-ba-do-ba, ba-ba-do-ba, that means we're together. It's an ensemble. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Right? Hold on, let me just check my trombone real quick. I think it's okay.
So what did he do when he played softer? Do you guys still stay loud? So listen.
Exactly, right? So part of what dictates these like themes or textures or what happens with those during the solo is the soloist. So we've got to be listening to each other and working together, right? Collaborating. It's a collaboration, not a competition. You'll learn more about that in your later years when people try to cut each other, right? We're collaborating. We're not trying to cut each other, okay? So this is part of that. So when I went down, I even did it with body language, right? Follow me with that, where that's part of the fun of this. Otherwise, we should just kind of stay in the practice room if we're going to kind of do this. But the fun is kind of having your ear open to your neighbor on the bandstand and just seeing if you can go with it. That's also part of the improvisational experience. And this happens with improv acting and comedy, where they do yes and they go off of each other. It's a collaborative element. Can't really do it in the same way alone, or if you're thinking you're alone in the moment, all right? So we gotta be kind of tapping into each other in that way. Geez, almost, okay, I think we're good. I almost ruined my horn there. Okay, so, tell me your name one more time.
Henry.
Henry, yes, okay. When we do the thing, the kick in the gap, you don't need to hit the ride cymbal at the same time. That's it. You don't need to do this. Less is more for all of us, honestly. Less is more as far as how many notes and how much we're putting in, right? And even volume, too, at this point. That's what we're talking about. Everything's loud right now, especially with this size group. We start feeding into each other because we can't hear ourselves, and it's just the loud game, right? So we want to watch out for that. Okay. He wants to try 2 choruses, and we'll just do what I did. Screw it, we'll kind of keep it in a lane here, okay? Where we come in strong, and then that second chorus, right? Bring it down, some excitement, something that's not predictable. That's a big part of what we're trying to do, is avoid predictability, okay? So who wanted to try that on the horn? Solo, solo. Gentleman in the middle, tell me your name one more time.
Liam.
Liam. All right, ready? 1, 2, oh. Go for it. That's okay. That's what we do. That's what we do. Great job, Liam. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Let's give him a round of applause. So something that might help you in this regard, we kind of have to remember, like I was saying before, that people are following us, whether it's sonically or. It reminds me of before I used GPS, which none of you all will remember that. We would have, and it still may happen today, but someone would say, oh, I don't know where we're going, but you do, can I follow you in your vehicle, in your car? So we're going somewhere to a destination, and they're following me because they don't know the direction, right? And then, so we're on our way, we're trucking along, 2 cars there behind me, and all of a sudden I approach a light, and it turns yellow, right? So what I did when I was younger is I would just do what I always do and try to beat the light. But then after doing that once with someone trying to, follow me for directions, I left them, I stranded them at the light, right? I didn't consider that they were behind me and they needed that, the example or whatever to continue following me to know where they were going. So it's much like this where I am leading people, I'm guiding them on, and I can't leave them at the yellow light, right? I have to stop and take them into consideration. This is that kind of democratic, communal aspect that is so beautiful about jazz. So, that might be a little bit abstract right now, but yes, Liam, go ahead.
Is that in reference like the soloist is the one? that-
You're the one leading. You're the one telling the story, and we're all hopefully in the palm of your hand, right? So what might help you, Liam, in this regard? Let's put this little analogy aside. So you start out the solo, right? To right? So what I made sure I did, and this is the version of not rushing through the light, I made sure I was real loud before I got to the quiet part. I don't want to get quiet before, like too soon and give it away. I need it to be loud before it gets quiet at the top of the form so that contrast is in full effect, okay? The other thing I did after I got to the soft part, I did something, if I do a long note, that isn't quite as obvious. I'm not telegraphing to my bandmates in the audience what's going on. There's just a good chance that the note will get buried behind the rhythm section, right? So doing something that keeps time while playing quiet is helpful because you want to keep the intensity in the groove. And I want to iterate this very important notion or concept that intensity and volume are two very different things. And we can play quiet like this and have the intensity through the roof still, right? And that's a beautiful thing to be able to pull off, and it's a beautiful thing for the audience to experience in the room. This not loud at all. I'm sure all the parents know this experience of you better not do that again. I'll tell you once if you do that one more. There's no yelling, but there's some intensity there. And you probably see the look on your kid's face and yeah, okay, he actually has, I understand. And so that's what we want to recreate, right? It's an interesting form of communication. It's very expressive and useful, okay? Let me just get a sip of this coffee. Okay, who wants to try it again? Let's do slow fast or lyrical and then mini notes. So maybe a sax player or a trumpet player. You want to try it, Judah? Start a super simple space and then second solo. Right? A one, a two, a one, a two, three. Sort of notes for yourself, or what do you got?
I feel like I could have put more space in between my ideas in the first chorus.
Sure. Anything else?
Yeah, not crack as many notes.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about that too much about that just yet. That's a shed on the horn thing. But musically, it's all good. I didn't notice crack notes. I was good with it. So, what might help in this space and the pacing, and this will help all of us. Oftentimes, a loud dynamic can be confused for just a lot of notes. Like that can feel loud, even if we're not playing technically loud. So space is important. It gives us, as listeners, a break, which we need. It's very important to have this palate cleanse or whatever, this aural break. So I like to think of the blues. Have we talked about this? We know about this. We've got 3 groups of 4 bars, right? And so that's how I'm conceptualizing or feeling the phrasing. So you can make smaller phrases of those 4 bars, but the general breakdown is 12 full bars, 4 each. So 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4. 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 1. 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 4. So I'm targeting not every beat to or every bar. I'm going to next one to. It gives me room to breathe and move around. Otherwise, I feel just so confined trying to nail every change, every beat. Okay. Now, as a general rule, I'm just going to jump right into this concept. This is a concept called forward motion, and it's taught specifically by a gentleman named Hal Galper. He's a piano player, played with Michael Brecker, with Woody, the sax player. No, I'll come back to his name. I'm drawing complete. No, I'll think of his name. Maybe I'm screwing that up. But he's, what's that?
Play sax?
Yeah, I think I'm screwing the name up, but it'll come back to me. Point is, he's a BA. he's a legendary pedagogue and musician. What he talks about is opening up feel and time in this way, right? Making, essentially, one of the biggest takeaways is making less work for us. We're playing smarter, we'll say, rather than harder. So he calls his approach a corrective approach to jazz and groove and improv. And we're taught from the beginning that beat one is the beginning of the bar, the beginning of feeling of the phrase, whatever. He talks about how it's the end of a phrase, right? And it's the destination point, okay? So what he suggests, and what I've been using now, is aiming for beats 1 and 3, right? So when we count off, and when the listener is listening, they feel 2 and 4. But 2 and 4 are what we call tension beats, right? And so if we, for example, I think it's a good way to demonstrate this is replacing 2 and 4 with the word and. So 1 and 3 and 1 and so and is 1 and 3 and 1 and 3, right? So this is an approach. 2 and 4 are approach beats, and 1 and 3 is where my foot lands, right? So he did a whole bunch of research from Bach to Bird, even that's what he wrote, his words, and found out that when Bach was writing and playing, using counterpoint and voice leading, he targeted beats 1 and 3 for strong chord tones, right? And then he also looked at Bird's playing and everyone else in between and noticed the same trend. So it seems that humans have an affinity for registering and processing music as it happens in this way. It's organized in this way. We hear things on 1 and 3, things lining up harmonically. Whether we're a music major or have no idea, we have an affinity for this, right? And it's found through the success of certain artists versus others, or the connectability of those artists to just your average listener. So, strong chord tones. Let me talk about the other aspect of that, right? This is melody and harmony. That's going to be just the starting point for now. It's going to be 1, 3, 5, and 7. Okay? Right? We all familiar with the chord structures, and we know what I mean when I say 1, 3, 5, and 7? All right. Show of hands, I just want to check in with this, and don't feel bad about it. I didn't learn chord changes to a blues until I was in college. Okay? So, how many of you all are informed as to what the chords are to a blues, like what we just played? Show of hands. Okay? Just a few of us. All right, that's okay. So if we do this again, I don't know if I'll have enough time this go around, but if we're able to do a drill in the manner of this concept, we'll just put the form up on a whiteboard or whatever for you to reference. But for now, we can use someone who's familiar with the chord changes of a blues, and what we're going to do is do an exercise, right? And so on every beat 1 and every beat 3, we're going to play a chord tone. Let's just do thirds for now. So maybe I can do it to start. Does somebody feel comfortable enough with the chord changes of a blues form to do that after I take a turn? We got a strong... So we'll go da, 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 right? And then I do a 2/5 into the 4 chord, you'll hear it. But and side note, it's really important to be able to sing it cold, right? That means it's up here. But let's do it on the horns for now.
You do it slower so they can compute.
So exactly, yeah. So 1, yeah, let's go and do it. 1, a 2, and 1, 2. I did the whole turnaround. I don't think you guys are doing that, but there's a 3-6-2-5 turnaround at the end. There's a couple more chords there. So right now I just did 1, right? For the chords that are a full bar or a whole note length, I'm only playing beat 1. But eventually, once we get more comfortable with chords in the blues form, I want us to be playing, 3 and 7 or 3 and 3. So as far as the chord degrees. But the beats that we're landing them on is going to be 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 1, and arrival, landing. These are target notes, and we're aiming for them. We're trying to hear for where those are happening. Okay, this is a huge 8 and 8th note lines. Just want to throw that there. So, did we have a volunteer for wanting to try that? Okay, Liam. All right, cool. So you can play it the form as you know it, and just aim for those 3s. And actually, just to get used to counting on 1 and 3, or feeling on 1 and 3, play the third 2 times. Da, 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 da. Cool? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So you want 3. Yeah, 3 only. Let's try that again from the top. Right? You're doing good voice leading, and 7 will add eventually, but we're just doing very basic right now. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. This shows you to be able to talk about this subject, right? Going back to kind of the lawyer parallel, to be able to talk about a subject and to teach other people and tell a story to other people about a subject, you have to be informed about it. So we got to do our due diligence to learn the structure, even the basic structure of a blues. Maybe not with all the 3-6-2-5s and all that, that's fine. But we got at least one version of the full blues form so that we can maybe have the option or the opportunity to play a solo in this way at our best, in its most informed way. Okay, cool. So and that's just going to take some time. Again, I didn't know the blues form until I was in college. So growing up in El Paso, we were kind of separated from a lot of things. Okay, so I'm going to take a turn at it because we've got some time constraint here. But from there, right, we're targeting these notes. 1 and 3. So now I'm going to do an approach note, right? The target means there needs to be something coming at it, approaching it, right, from a distance. So I'm going to do an approach note towards these 1 and 3s, and it's going to be a diatonic or scalar approach note from above, okay? What this does is that it creates like a pickup note. Da, 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 and 1. And 1. And so now, even with this very first approach note that we're adding, we're creating forward motion. It's not just chord. There's that, if we play just chord by chord, or what some people call cookie cutter, that really gets in the way of forward moving lines and the feeling of something being speech-like or conversational, right? I went to the store, we got eggs, blah, 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 blah. Right? This isn't a forward-moving interaction. So when we have this approach to jazz harmony, we're addressing that, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do the approach note by scale degree, and you can hear what I'm talking about, okay? Are y'all ready? All right, rhythm sections are good on the chords, right? 1, 2, a 1, boom. Okay, so let's pause. That's only, so it started out with just one note on 1 of 3, and they're a strong chord tone, and then I just added an approach tone towards it, right? And I'm already hearing, and I wonder if you all are too, hearing how this, if we keep going in this way, only maybe a few more steps, how this can turn into a solo. Like we can hear it evolving in front of our ears, we'll say. Does that make sense? Is anybody picking up on that a little bit? How it's kind of, we're building a solo from the bottom up without, just through these rules, right? Hal Galper talks a lot about creating restriction in order to access freedom, okay? So that's what this is creating a lane for us to understand, to exist in. Too many options, we get paralyzed, right? Some paralysis there. So doing it this way, especially at the beginning, is helpful for us to find a path and access this forward motion in harmony, okay? Let's see here. I'm gonna do one more, and it's gonna be from a chord tone above and then a half step below. So, da da da, da da da, da da da. And this is a great exercise for all of you to do on your own at home. You can take it slower, and you don't have to do it on the third. You can do it. Remember, what are the strong chord tones, everybody, of a chord? What are the ones that I mentioned? Everybody together, ready? 1, 3, 5, 7. There we go. Right. 1, 3, 5, 7. So we can do this targeting on any of those notes. Okay. 1, 2. Solo, because it's almost like someone just guided me there, and I'm right into it now. I couldn't stop myself from making it into solo, and that's what you want to feel, at least in my opinion. That's when I feel I'm at my best, is when the solo, it feels like it's writing itself, and I'm not having to force it out. With things like this, with this, sometimes this can feel just, this art form and the approach of it can feel so abstract. Again, all these options, and improvise, just do whatever you want. Shoot, that's anything, right? With this, it gives us some of that structure and that lane, and then from there, it pulls me into ideas. It brings, the solo starts to write itself rather than me feeling paralyzed or in some sort of stasis, okay? Thoughts, concerns, questions? Anything to add on to that? No? Okay, so let's try something. Oh, we're not ready for you fully do it. I don't think so. We're not. Usually, I have a 2/5 and a D flat on bar 4.
Well, I'll work with them.
Sure. Yeah. Just to get
This group comes every Sunday.
And a little side note too, right? This is just to add on to all of this, right? Tuning. You got it? Cool. So, when we improvise, I think initially we're taught that a 2-5-1, we're all familiar with this terminology, what a 2-5-1 chord progression is, okay? Right, if we're in the C major, we've got D minor, G7, and then C. Those are all derived from that scale, right? And we're told, well, if you see a 2-5-1 there, you can just play C major over it, right? So that might sound like this. Right, so, and it was hard to actually pull that off. When I just play the scale, it just sounds random and doesn't convey the chord progression that's happening. So when I use this target note approach, now we're talking about playing in C, but with intention, right? So you can hear the chord progression, yes? So this is some of that, again, forward motion that I wanted to reiterate in a slightly different way to show the importance of not just throwing a major scale at a 2/5, but targeting strong melody notes with strong beats, okay? Let's try this. I want everybody, I know this is a sin, a cardinal sin in jazz. Either tap your foot or snap your finger, right? Oh no, it's this, the cardinal sin is counting on 1 and 3. So 1, I want to go ba ba da ba, don't sing the notes. Boo ba da ba da ba da ba, right? A da ga do da, a da 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 da, a da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da, 3, 4, 1. Okay. So often we're attached to the notes of a rhythm that when we take the pitches away, we're screwed. We struggle with the rhythm. And so now I want to explore that phenomenon that happens, but also I want to throw in counting on 1 and 3 as well. Okay? And actually, who was I watching? I think Judah was you. When you were counting over the blues, you're counting all 4 beats. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. Oh, there we go. And your playing will reflect that opening up, that relief, release, or whatever you want to call it, of work, less work. Okay, so that's what this is about, especially. You want to do this? Right? It's a lot of work. We'll get more into that. Okay, the faster you tap, the bigger beat that you play with. Okay, make everything a ballad. Does that make sense? Make everything a ballad. Okay, we'll get more into that another week. But for now, let's sing we're gonna sing the rhythm, but not the right pitches, and we're gonna stay on 1 and 3. Okay, tap or clap, and you all can join too if you want to. 1, 3, 1. Ba ba da ba, da 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 da. No pitch. Don't pitch it. Just the rhythm. I just want you to do 1. Ready? Keep it going. Do it again. Ba ba da ba.
1. Just 1.
Right there. Just the big 1. 1. Right? Okay? We don't want to be so attached to the time, all right? Because all the drummer has to do is flip it and you're screwed, okay? So this is kind of like, I don't know, you all are too young for this too, but all of this is in an effort to approach music in the same way. Are we familiar with Bruce Lee? You remember Bruce Lee? Okay, of course. And he had this saying, be like water, right? Which is essentially don't come to a moment, whether it's in martial arts or music or life, expecting something to come at you specifically, right? Oh, it's gonna happen this way, it's gonna happen this way. And then what usually happens comes over here, right? So we just let go. We be like water. We take the form of the container that we're in, right? And this is along the lines of that. Oh, every beat, I gotta hold on to this. Control, control, control. It actually does the opposite, unfortunately, because then you're so looking into this tunnel vision that you're not hearing or seeing your partner play some rhythmic thing that you can make a melody out of or a theme out of, right? You're missing the moment. So opening up like this and accessing flow and being like water helps you enter the moment, right? And not get stuck in tunnel vision. I would say 100% of the problems, maybe 99 if we leave out technical aspects. 99% of the issues that we have struggling with jazz music is a listening thing, right? And all of us have perfect hearing, like there's no hearing loss, for the most of us, just generally speaking, right? So the listening is more of a, like being aware of, it's an awareness or conceptual thing, right? And it's because we're going 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, chord, 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 chord. When we do that, tunnel vision. So open it up, be like water, okay? So let's see here. I want Judah, can you do 1 and 3? And I want you to solo, okay? Okay, so just solo with your.
Just tapping one.
Yep. All right. 1. The blues from the top. 1, 2, take a solo. 1, 2. Of course, it's brand new. Let's give him a round of applause for that. It's a brand new concept, so you're going to slip back into your old way. He even writes that in the book. It's like you're going to find yourself like trying to count back and forth, but just remember to train yourself in a different way. Thoughts, any sort of feelings or new things there happening for you?
It's hard, especially when I'm trying to do like faster stuff. I want to do all 4 beats when I'm in time, but
It's a control thing, but you're still in time. Right? And it's so much less work. It's
If you
slow.
kind of, that tempo, excuse me, you get a cramp in your foot.
Yeah, and you get bogged down in your lines.
It's gonna slow you down.
When I count like that and do those, if I'm doing I'm accenting more of them. When I do that bigger time, I'm letting more notes go by too, and it sounds more conversational. Right? So, that's just, I don't feel tired at all. And that's like, especially as a brass player, it's hard enough wrestling the instrument. We just need anything and everything we can get to relieve some of the labor it takes to do this. Am I right, Judah? On this trumpet especially. So this helps that. Who wants to try this next? Come on, we should have everyone volunteering to do this thing.
Go, Slick.
To do what?
Count.
Scat?
Well, we've been
No,
talking.
no, no.
For the tap? Tap.
No,
Or
no.
the third thing?
Yeah. Tap on 1 and 3 and aim for those as target beats and aim for the strong chord tones and base your phrasing off of this more open, big time, right? This is ballad, right? Of a ballad style chord, okay? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. that's a start. That's kind of an entry or an access point for us, and it avoids us, getting that feeling. And I'm pretty sure, I feel safe saying all of us feel this way. It's like public speaking. We get up and we don't have any experience in public speaking, and then all of a sudden it's our turn to go, whatever, we're at the mic, and it's like frantic, right? And then some people freeze and don't say anything, or some people, this is I think where I function sometimes, they just do the word, and then we go to, and they speak a lot, right? So with these constructs and these access points, it gives us something to hold on to in that opening moment of speaking, whatever, like public speaking, our version of public speaking. And so for that reason, I think, and many would agree, musically and experientially, that playing something simple like that's simple, there's no frills or anything about it, but it's still a story that's being told. Versus a frantic, right? A lot of us tend to aim for more notes and loud and this and such to cover the fact that we're having this frantic moment or experience out of nerves. But they're not telling a story when they do that. So use this, what we're talking about, to avoid that pitfall so that you can still acknowledge this frantic in the nerves that'll be there for years, and it's okay, it just means you're human. But also you have a little lifeline to get yourself out of the pitfalls of getting stuck in that emotional state, okay? So slow down to hurry up is what a lot of people, have you heard this phrase before? Slow down to hurry up. Take a breath. This is something that's important in jazz as well as life and socializing. Oftentimes there's this perceived urgency that's actually not real. So we can pause, slow down, don't need to respond right away. Take a breath, give space, and there's a lot of power in that, okay? And phrasing like this, it highlights that reality, opening it up. It's the version of letting your shoulders, relaxing your shoulders, right? And some of you might literally feel, once you start feeling like this, like I can relax now. And as artists, we want to be relaxed as vessels to enter into this flow state. You don't see, right, Allen Iverson really tense doing all that magic of going up to the board, right? He's in his flow state and he's relaxed and on point, right? That's art right there to me too. It's the same thing as what we're doing, just in different form, okay? What am I supposed to go to, 45?
2 minutes.
All right. Questions, we'll open it up for questions. I try to cover a lot of ground here, but hopefully with the understanding that we'll come back to this in a month, I guess, is what Richard said. So any questions from anybody regarding this stuff? I'm just trying to make this easier. It's hard and abstract and daunting at times. It's just Black American jazz improvised music. It's a beautiful thing. It's so much history and language and texture and color. And we're so young learning this, so we need all the help we can get, okay? Speaking of recordings. But yes, questions. Any questions about me, the concepts, jazz, anything you want to share or add to what we're talking about? Liam.
What's your favorite way to practice improvising?
Well, doing stuff like this, for one, it just reminds me to calm down. At 40 years old, I still have to do this stuff to remember, to slow down. Like it's kind of like when you have a dream, you know, the classic dream of you're in class with your underwear or whatever, right? And in the dream, you're freaking out, but then oftentimes when you wake up, you're like, man, it was only a dream. Like, why was I so concerned, right, with the thing? It's not even real. And I feel a very similar experience when I make easier or slow down and call myself out on being, applying an unneeded sense of urgency to the moment. It's very similar. It's just a dream. Like, just slow down. No one's on the operating table, thankfully. We're lucky in that. No one's going to get hurt. There's not a lot at stake as far as safety, right? So everything's going to be okay, and I can just relax, okay? So stuff like this that reminds me, whether it's away from the horn or behind the horn, big time. And listening to, active listening. Why did they do that? How did they make that work? Kenny Garrett, how is he able to keep Kenny Garrett's this famous sax player. He's one of the greatest.
Not Kenny.
Kenny
G.
Not Kenny G.
The original Kenny G.
Yes, not the Kenny G that we know, the commercial success Kenny G, but Kenny Garrett, the jazz musician. I forget where he's from, but he's another guy. But he's able to. His thing is theme. He builds themes, and his time is amazing too. So if I'm listening passively, I might not take note of that. I might just be doing something, watching Netflix, or who knows, right? But if I'm sitting here thinking like, well, why is this guy's playing? Why does it affect me? How is he making that affect me? What are the things? It's just almost an analytical approach to it. So active listening in that kind of analytical state. I even have a little pad and write, okay, strong time. He does this. He plays loud here and soft there, all these mature things. I write down the strategies so that I can steal them, right? It's ethical stealing. Art is that, right? It's either sharing or stealing or some, combination of both as far as these creativity and these ideas. We copy each other. We stole language and our ability to speak our mother tongue from our parents, right? In a way, right? We were around them growing up and just through exposure, picked up how to speak, those initial stages. And this is part of that. Hi. For the last 2 minutes. But we're going to be here next month, so I believe.
Yeah, the first Sunday of each month, we're going to repeat this. If Paul and Joe are available, let's give them a hand.
Any parents have questions about this stuff? Does it, even though not being versed in like jazz theory, I'm just assuming, some of you might be musicians as well, but generally speaking, not knowing what a flat nine, all this stuff is, right? Does some of it make sense vibe-wise, just philosophically, right? It's just being human, which we all are, and we just choose to talk about it and express ourselves in sound. But we do that every day, human beings, musician or not. We're making music. When you speak, there are notes and rhythms. So we're improvising and making music every day and connecting with each other. And so we're just doing the same thing. Take those numbers and all the things that we essentially just made up away, and we're just all communicating and connecting as human beings. So that's the beauty of this, and all art really. Okay, cool. I better get going though, but thank you so much for bringing your kids here and hanging. Thanks, guys.
Welcome, stick around because at 7 o'clock we're going to do what we do in here. And at 43, I do the same thing that he does. He's 40, I'm 43. I still, I still wake up in the morning. I live, I eat, live, dream music. And at my age, I don't have any more nightmares. But all I dream about is music. I dream about these kids, I dream about all the kids that I teach, and I dream about myself practicing, because I practice every day. I don't have a choice. So who do I practice with? I practice with my students, and I tell them all the time, for my social media, I have nothing but sax, but it's just nothing but music. When he was talking about Kenny Garrett, look up Kenny Garrett with Miles Davis. Look up that solo right there. It's the best solo ever played. And I just want to say that these kids right here, they show up every Sunday, volunteer, and thank y'all for coming out. We're gonna do a little bit of music for you. Hey, have a good gig.
Thank you.
You're gonna do a jam session.
That's correct.
Okay, one other thing, I don't know, did you tell them all the instruments you played?
You did, I thought.
Okay, well, I'll do it again. So not only trombone, but trumpet, bass, not bass, trumpet, drums, keyboard.
Trumpet, drums, piano, and trombone, and baritone and tuba a little bit too.
There we go. So yeah, it's amazing. So if you'd like for your child, or if you'd like to be in the 5:30 band, or actually it would be 6 after we get set into a weekly, just email us. There's some information there. It's enroll@newschoolmusic.net.
And I teach adults too, if any of you all are.
Exactly, and on Wednesdays, still have
Right.
availability on Wednesdays.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah. Let's have one more applause.